Hey everyone, you're watching Ash on Comics. I'm Ash, and this is Peter Simeti. If you're following comic culture at all, just in the industry or anything, you probably know who this guy is. He's the publisher of Alternate Comics. It's pretty much a one-man shop. I think he employs a few part-time assistants for various things, but he's pretty much it. He's been doing this for a few years, several years now. I don't know exactly how many, but it's at least several. And he publishes basically out of his garage, so to speak. I don't think it's his literal garage. I think he might have a home office or some small workspace, but he's no big company, right? This is a guy who's got a passion for comics. It's impacted his life, and he is sort of the epitome of what we talk about when us comic fans talk about things like comics making a difference in our life and changing us who we are. This is sort of the poster child, if you will, of that type of person, that comics made a difference in their life and now they're giving back and they've made it their life's passion. I originally wasn't going to do a video on this because so many other people are doing videos. It's all over Twitter. And I'm just going to be one more, mouth, regurgitating the same information that everyone else is already doing. But then I was like, I don't care. This is just me. This video is for me. Just to put my 2 cents in, say my piece, to just add to the cacophony, just one more shout out and condemnation of this. So what happened was, just recently, just for the rare person who doesn't know what's going on, Peter was swatted by someone. And what swatted is when you file a false report with the police and make a situation sound like extremely dangerous, like you're armed and dangerous, and you're going to kill people. Some sort of situation where the police are going to want to bring in the SWAT team, right, to stop you. In this case, someone called the police, pretended to be him, said that he was suicidal and he had just stabbed his girlfriend, and this is like a, big code red to police. They're like, this guy's could be deranged and they got to stop at all costs. So they busted in, apparently, pointed guns at him. Fortunately, the police were very professional and just didn't come in shooting or anything like that. But that's the idea. That's when you SWAT someone, you're kind of hoping that happens. You hope that maybe some trigger-happy cops come in or something, and the worst case scenario happens, in which case Peter is dead. That's what happened to Peter yesterday. And before this video here that I have a snapshot of is actually Peter during a time previously, several months ago, when the comic industry tried to just destroy his livelihood. And basically drove him to near suicide because, this is all this guy has. Not that I say that in a disparaging way. He's made it all he has. This is a guy who works night and day, never takes a day off, or rarely takes a day off. He probably works 18-hour days. I don't say it's all he has as in any sort of, anything to be ashamed of. It's all he has in that he's devoted himself to this. And I admire Peter. Anyways, they tried to destroy him. They did a little whisper campaign. They pulled away many of his creators that turned against him, all because he had the audacity to institute a social media policy with his company, because he didn't want his customers being upset at unprofessionalism. He just wanted some professional policies. How dare you ask your comic book creators to do something like that, to follow a policy? And so many of them rebelled, turned against him, betrayed him. After like 10 years of relationship and friendship with this guy, they just turned around and stabbed him in the back. And then other people who weren't part of Alterna, piled onto this and just tried to blackball him as a publisher and make it so that no other creators would want to work with him. And you say, well, how, Ash, what are we going to really do? Well, Peter's a small fish in a big pond. And a lot of people who publish with him, I'm sure it wouldn't be out of any logical sense to think that these people maybe one day have dreams of, writing or drawing or whatever for DC or Marvel, right? The comic book industry is a small place, and people who get into the industry have a big passion for it, and they have dreams, and you have a big group of people that gatekeep the industry and say, look, you do a comic with Peter Simeti, and we will blacklist you forever. You will never work at DC or Marvel or Image or whatever, ever. We will make sure of it if you work with this guy. And that's what was happening. So he had some people betraying him just out of fear, because they may not have disagreed with Peter. They may not have disliked his policy or whatever, but they were like, I can't afford to be seen with you. I don't want to be blacklisted in this industry. And it was just a despicable, disgusting thing that this industry is doing. And none of the big pros stood out of this. Like, this was a time when the big names should have come out and said, no, that's not right, right? Go ahead, work with Alterna Comics. You will not be black, just encourage people. We need more talent in this industry, and we need to not be eating our own, and we need to not be doing that. If you're an up-and-coming wannabe professional creator, you shouldn't just have your career destroyed because you got published by this guy. And this is one of the nicest guys in the industry. Many people consider him the heir apparent to Stan Lee in a spiritual sense. Obviously, Alterna's not Marvel. He's that good of a guy. And they did that to him. And then someone tried to get him killed. Why? Because he doesn't have the right politics. And when I say he doesn't have the right politics, I'm not even saying that he has opposite politics or that he doesn't stand on a pedestal or a soapbox preaching anything. He just wants to sell comics to everyone. His mantra is comics are for everyone, Team Comics. You see hashtags on Twitter. He just wants to sell to everyone. He wants to be professional. He wants everyone to love comics, and he wants everyone in comics to love each other. That's what this guy is about, 100%. And when he was getting destroyed by the industry, and Comicsgate fans rallied by the thousands and started buying his books and promoting his books because they saw a man being victimized by a bunch of bullies and bigots, and his sales grew better than ever from this group aiding him. Of course, this non-existent, this pathetic group that doesn't have an impact in the industry made him more successful than ever. But that just drove them angrier. And then, if that was not enough, he had to be destroyed. So someone out there tried to get him killed. Make no mistake, when you swat someone, it's not a ha-ha funny practical joke. Practical joke is ordering 20 pizzas to someone's house when they didn't order or something. When you order a SWAT team that comes in guns blazing, that's not a joke. You're trying to get this person killed. And I hope whoever did this gets found and held accountable legally, and made an example of. This is not acceptable. And I hope this is a wake-up call to the industry. This is what you're promoting. You may not support this. You may even come out and tweet and say, oh, Peter, no one, whoever did this was despicable. But then if you're sitting there supporting these evil bigots who constantly say, oh, punch Nazis, and promote all this violence, and you're supporting them and not condemning that, then you are part of the problem. To use the SJ terminology, you're an enabler. Or, sorry, what do they say? You're an ableist. That's how they say it. the industry needs to come out and protect their own, even people who aren't part of the program, like, you know, Peter Simeti. This political culture war philosophy where it's about progressive ideology over comics and humanity is got to go. Everyone should be utterly disgusted. I've seen some tweets where people are like, well, you know, we need to heal and time to reflect. Well, this shouldn't be everyone getting in an uproar and out. No, if there was ever a time to be outraged about something, this is it. This is not the time to heal. This is the time to say enough. This is way out of line. And if you aren't one of those, then I think you're part of the problem. Right? Now, I'm not saying go out and start burning cars and rioting or getting violent with other people. That's not at all. But being outraged, being vocal, being prominent, lending your support to this guy, and not just when he's being attacked by, you know, police, but all the time. This is a good man. This is what comics should be about. And when you people out there are lying about Comicsgate and saying Comicsgate's a hate group and all this stuff, you're the problem. You're the liars. This is what we're about, what Peter's about. We want comics to be more like Peter. Just a good, loving guy who's devoted to making good comics that people can enjoy and maybe one day will have effect on them like comics in the past had an effect on him. He doesn't wish any harm. He doesn't wish harm on a fly. And this is a guy who's been victimized twice now, and he still does not have an ill word to speak about anybody. I'm outraged on his behalf, and you should be too. This video snapshot was taken off of DC Fans United his YouTube. I'm a subscriber to his channel. Watch his video. Fellow friend YouTuber. Oh, I don't want to see your stupid ad, Marvel.
A whole lot of words to describe.
That's Tristan from Nerdette's Newsstand. She's another one who's done a video. This is one of the reasons I wasn't going to do one, because they've already done them. If you want to see better footage than mine, possibly check out these guys. I just wanted to put my 2 cents in and not be silent on the issue. So, leave your comments below. Stand up for good and decency and these assholes that just want to destroy things. You know, they say we got to stand up to hate, and they're right. But they're the ones that are the hate. Thanks for watching.